Good evening, everyone. We'll be doing Chapter 4, Organizational Behavior and Management, Perceptions and Attributions. Today's learning objectives describe the different stages of the perception process, discuss the process of perceptual grouping, compare the 6 potential inaccuracies that can result from perceptual grouping, summarize how employees use attribution theory to explain the causes of events, explain why and in what context impression management tactics are commonly used. Perception. Perception is based on prior experience. It is the cognitive process by which one selects, organizes, and gives meaning to the environmental stimuli. Each person gives his or her own meaning to stimuli, so each perceives things differently. We are bombarded by environmental stimuli. Which stimuli you focus on is determined by what you choose to pay attention to. Generally, people perceive stimuli that satisfy needs, emotions, attitudes, or the self-concept. The perceptual process. Misinterpreting stimuli can result in the perceptual errors, either the similar to me errors or snap impressions, the quick impressions that people have. Each person selects cues that influence the perceptions of symbols, objects, people. Exhibit 4.1, the perceptual process and individual interpretation. You see the work environment, stimuli, managers, style, technology, noise, peers, reward systems, compensation plan, career opportunities, individual perceptual process, observation, sight, hearing, taste, smell, selection, intensity, size, impatience, translation, stereotyping, self-concept, emotions, response, needs, attitudes, feelings, and motivation. Please look at Exhibit 4.1 for the explanation. Exhibit 4.2 talks about the gap, the difference between what supervisors and subordinates feel about each other. Please look at Exhibit 4.2 for more information. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Someone's expectations about another causes the individuals to behave in a manner consistent with those expectations. This results in 2 different effects, the Pygmalion effect and the Golem effect. Pygmalion effect. What is the Pygmalion effect? The Pygmalion effect explains that people tend to perform up to the level that others expect them to. This effect explains why our relationships are usually self-fulfilling prophecies. Once you set expectations for somebody, that a person will tend to live up to that expectation, whether it is good or bad. The Pygmalion effect doesn't justify having unrealistic expectations of others. Expecting miracles is a recipe for frustration on both ends. The paradox of the Pygmalion effect is that having high expectations of people will produce better results, but it's also more likely you'll be disappointed. The Golem effect describes the process where superiors, such as teachers or managers, anticipate low performance from a subordinate, causing the very behavior that they predict. In Hasidic mythology, the golem was a creature built from clay and mud, designed to serve its master, reports the Journal of Management Education. However, the creator of the golem knows that given the opportunity, the creature will bring about trouble and destruction, something which eventually comes to pass. Managers who contribute to the golem effect believe that certain employees lack the skills, potential, or willingness to succeed. This leads to a change in leadership style, where managers may set more explicit targets and deadlines, assign more routine tasks, monitor employees on a regular basis, emphasize operational concerns instead of strategic ones, and basically downplay the importance of the employee, which is a very, very dangerous thing. We move on to the next slide, slide number 9, the Pygmalion effect. So supervisor expects subordinates to perform at a higher level. Subordinate raises own expectations and is more motivated. Well, that would be the Pygmalion effect. The Golem effect is if the manager feels a person can't perform, then they will not give them proper assignments, give them low-level assignments, and make them feel unimportant. So again, in the Pygmalion effect, supervisor expects subordinate to perform at a high level. Subordinate raises own expectation and is more motivated. Subordinate increases performance levels and meets higher expectation. And as mentioned before in the definition of the Pygmalion effect, it can cause disappointment as well if you raise expectations too high. Perceptual grouping, slide number 10. Nearness, stimuli are near each other. Similarity, stimuli are similar in size, color, shape, or form. Closure, completing a figure so it has consistent overall form. figure and ground, grouping sensations into figures and backgrounds. Exhibit 4.3 goes through the different types of groupings with actual physical depictions, pictorial depictions. Schemas. A framework embodying descriptions of people, situations, or objects helps us make better sense of information. Schemas are person, role, self, or event-based. Managers use schemas to examine or prepare for a situation, allows the chance to think, organize, and compare before acting. Perceiving groupings and creating schemas. Schema inaccuracies and distortions can result from stereotyping, halo effect, selective attention, and similar to me errors. Exhibit 4.4, factors that decrease perceptual accuracy. Stereotyping and prejudice. Managers who rely on racial, gender, or ethnic stereotypes will not be able to capitalize on diversity management and will make stupid decisions based on ignorance. Selective divided attention. When managers are overly focused on one issue or are busy multitasking, they'll tend to perceive less information and rely more on stereotypes. Halo effect. Managers' evaluation of job applicants or subordinates' performance may be biased, leading to lower quality decisions. Similar to me errors. Managers who focus too much on employees who possess similar qualities may not use the employees in effective ways. Situational factors. Managers hold certain attitudes or are under time pressures to meet deadlines and may make quick judgments about people or situations. Needs and desires. Managers who have a high need for control, power, or recognition will tend to perceive events and others' actions related to those needs. Slide number 15. Stereotyping is a translation step in the perceptual process, helps people deal with massive information processing demands, a useful, even essential way to categorize individuals, events, or other things on the basis of limited information or observation. Stereotyping is not inherently bad or wrong. I disagree highly with that statement. I think anytime you stereotype, you paint yourself in a corner and you make silly assumptions. Stereotyping and prejudice. Prejudice is a stereotype that doesn't change when given information showing the stereotype is inaccurate, often the result of direct experiences with members of the rejected group. Once formed, positive experiences with the person's group or unit usually do not reverse the prejudice. Extreme form is scapegoating. Slide 17, stereotyping and prejudice. Two sources of prejudice. Personal. Something or someone is perceived as a threat to one's own interest. A group occurs when a person conforms to the norms of a group to which he or she belongs. And this is basically the attitude. If everyone's picking on somebody and you join in and you don't want to be out, an outcast within the group and you want to just follow everyone, and that's very, very dangerous. Slide 18, negative consequences of stereotyping, social injustice, stifled innovation, poor decision-making, ineffectiveness and inefficiency, underutilization of human resources, holding back of talented, qualified people. Slide 19, pay attention to your stereotyping. Stereotypes are frequently based on little or inaccurate information. Be willing to change or add information that improves the accuracy of your stereotypes. Stereotypes rarely accurately apply to a specific individual. Selective and divided attention. Selective attention, giving some messages priority and putting others on hold. A bottleneck or narrowing of the information channel, linking the senses to perception. Divided attention occurs when mental efforts are divided among tasks. Some stimuli require more attention. Slide 21, halo effect. One important and noticeable characteristics, biases in evaluation, perception, or impression of a person. Presuming someone is hardworking because they arrive early and stay late. Considering that someone with piercings is wild and unreliable. One trait or characteristics can't predict a person's performance. Just because a person looks good doesn't mean that they actually are. Just because a person looks different doesn't mean that they are what you think they are in a bad way. Slide 22, continuation of halo effect. An individual's attractiveness can influence managerial decisions. Attractiveness, increased evaluations, pay raises, and promotions for women in non-managerial positions. The opposite was true for women in managerial positions. Both outcomes stem from the halo effect. Slide 23, similar to me errors. People frequently use themselves as benchmarks in perceiving others. Knowing oneself makes it easier to see others accurately. Those who accept themselves are more likely to see favorable aspects of others. Choosing subordinates who are similar to ourselves may not be appropriate to their situation, because sometimes you need people with different perspectives. And if everyone is like you, then they'll make decisions just like you. And you don't always make the right decisions. Sometimes you need to have others help you make decisions with different perspectives. Slide 24, situational factors. Perceptual accuracy can be affected by the press of time, attitudes of subordinates, other situational factors. Needs and perception. Perceptions are influenced by needs and desires. People see what they want to see. The hungrier people were when viewing ambiguous drawings, the more they saw them as articles of food. So what you are thinking, what's currently going on in your body may make you feel a certain way. Slide 26, attribution theory. Behavior is generally influenced by our personal interpretation of reality. And that's really what perception is, your perception of reality at that time. Perceptual processes are potent determinants of behaviors. Attribution theory attempts to explain the why of behavior based on people's attributions of the causes of events that happen to them. Slide 27 goes through the attribution theory. You have an event, for example, I receive a raise. Then you have analysis of what caused the event. In the example of the raise, I received the raise because I am hardworking. And then in the event, we go back to the top of the slide, reinforcement of modification of previous assumptions of causality, which in the example means hard work leads to reward in this organization. And then on the top, choices regarding future behavior, down to the example, since I value these rewards, I will continue to work hard in the future. Please go back to slide 4.5 to see how the slide flows. Okay. We move on to slide 28, attribution theory. Distinctiveness, the degree to which one behaves similarly in different situations. Consistency, the degree to which one engages in the same behaviors at different times. Consensus, the degree to which others are engaging in the same behavior. Slide number 29 is the attribution theory, exhibit 4.6, internal and external attributions. See the slide for more information. Slide 30, attribution theory, fundamental attribution error, underestimating the importance of external factors and overestimating internal factors when making attributions about the behavior of others. Self-serving bias, taking credit for successful work and denying responsibility for poor work. Attribution theory, managerial implications of an attributional approach to understanding work behavior. To influence behavior, managers must understand the attribution employees make. Managers must be aware that their attributions may be different from employees' attributions. Managers cannot assume that their own attributions are error-free. Impression management, the attempts to influence others' perceptions of ourselves, how we talk, our overall style, office location, and furniture. Slide 33, impression management is interpersonal resources, style, and creativity are mobilized in order to create a positive impression in the presence of others. Reasons to use impression management allows one to convey a desired identity. After the identity is established, it allows congruence with the impression. A particular situation requires a significantly different behavior. Slide 34, impression management tactics, ingratiation, self-promotion, exemplification, supplication, and intimidation. Okay, let's discuss ingratiation. Ingratiation is a psychological technique in which an individual attempts to influence another person by becoming more likable to their target, because the more likable you are, the more influential you could be. This term was coined by social scientist Edward E. Jones, who further defined ingratiation as a class of strategic behaviors illicitly designed to influence a particular other person concerning the attractiveness of one's personal qualities. Ingratiation research has identified some specific tactics employing integration. For more information on this, if you really want to go into it heavily, I got this on Wikipedia. Type in ingratiation and you'll see that, but it can have nefarious outcomes as well. Let's talk about exemplification. This I got from a website called psychology.io. iresearchnet.com. Exemplification definition. Exemplification is defined as a strategic self-presentational strategy whereby an individual attempts to project an image of integrity and moral worthiness. A person can accomplish exemplification by presenting him or herself as honest, disciplined, and self-sacrificing, generous, or principled. When successful, a person who exemplifies integrity and moral worthiness may be able to influence other people to follow his or her example. I like the next technique, supplication, which is a type of impression management behavior where people advertise their weakness or shortcomings to gain help or sympathy from others. Simon Sinek kind of alludes to this, how it's important for managers to show that they are vulnerable. Now, I wouldn't say that you try to show that you're vulnerable in the sense that you're weak or incapable of doing your job, because that's dangerous. If you show your employees or your underlings that you're not capable, they won't want to follow you. What I'm saying is just show everybody that you also have struggles like everybody else does. It's hard for you to get out of bed on Monday, just like it is for everyone else. You have challenges, stress, that's all good. People should see that you're a normal person who has the same proclivities and the same weaknesses that everyone else has. So basically, it's trying to get people to come into your camp by showing that you have certain weaknesses and shortcomings, which is not a bad thing. It's something that shows that you're human and with it. Now, intimidation, we know what intimidation is. That's definitely not a good way to manage your perception, how you are perceived by others, because that's going to basically cause people to hate you. Slide number 35, Exhibit 4.7, what job applicant could say to generate a positive impression of themselves. Self-promotion, positively describing oneself. I work hard every day. Shows the frequency of use at 100%. Personal stories describing the past in a puffed up way, 96%. Opinion conformity, expressing beliefs that are assumed to be held by another person at 54%. And you can look at the rest of the different tactics that people use to make positive impressions. I found this to be extremely, extremely interesting. And this is adopted from C.K. Stevens and A.L. Christoph, Making the Right Impression, a field study of applicant impressions management during the job interviews. This is Journal of Applied Psychology, 1995. I found it to be fascinating. You have it on slide 35. Please look at it for more information. So, in review, we can describe the different stages of the perception process, discuss the process of perceptual grouping, compare the 6 potential inaccuracies that can result from perceptual grouping, summarize how people use attribution theory to explain the causes of events, and explain why and in what context impression management tactics are commonly used. Thank you for tuning in and have a great day.